this is the Shine family?
Technically, they're borrowing the name, the successful name from the Shine 125 and bringing it here.
Okay.
Context, Honda's not been able to find success with any of their products except for the Activa and the Shine. I looked at the recent numbers. If the Activa is at 1.7 lakh units a month, Shine is at 1.34 lakh units a month, and therefore everything else is like 80,000, 60,000 a month, something.
Actually, that's such a great point, because they've been so successful with their scooter specifically, but they've done so many scooters. Do they still have the Aviator?
No.
Click?
No.
They had
The Click didn't click. The Aviator flew out.
So many iterations, right?
Yeah. So I can't take away credit for how hard they've pushed the product agenda, but nothing has worked. And to me, if the products don't feel like genuine Hondas, it will not work either.
They used to have the Dream Yuga or something else.
So the Dream is relevant to this story because I believe this engine is a derivative of the engine that was in the CD 110 Dream. But this is a 98cc engine, smaller engine.
Cool. Okay, so this is a 100cc bike.
Yeah.
Is it the only 100cc bike that Honda do in India today?
So they do two versions of this bike, the Shine 100 and the Shine 100 DX.
Okay.
What I really enjoy about this motorcycle is it's one of the lightest motorcycles you can buy.
Lovely.
So the Shine 100 is actually under 100 kilos curb. This bike is 103, and there are scooters which are at this weight point, but there are very few motorcycles. Splendor, which is what it wants to compete with, is I think 7, 8, 9 kilos heavier. I'll put up the exact numbers. So one of the attributes of this motorcycle is it is extremely light.
Awesome. Okay. So how do you want to start with this now?
Let's start with the engine. So as I said, the engine is a derivative of the CD 110 Dream, but it's a 100cc engine. The key thing to remember is all of these bikes are in the 7-8 bhp ballpark. They're all in the 8 Newton meter ballpark. This motorcycle also makes 8 Newton meters, but it makes its peak torque at 5,000 RPM. Most rivals make it at about 6,000 RPM. Okay. So this bike has always combined the sense of being light and that early torque to give you a sense of, oh, it just wants to go. And that is a nice feeling. If you remember, this was exactly how the Shine 125 was at the start before they fixed the gearing. It still is. And on this bike, I think you're going to get up to about 75, by which time the pegs will start to vibrate a little bit and tell you that, okay, we are done here. And above that, there is about maybe 10 kilometers an hour left. So if you're out on the highway, you want to explore that, fine. But up to 70, 75, maybe it's peaceful. It rides along well. And in that sense, all the 100cc motorcycles are focused on being reasonably smooth. The Honda is also. They're focused on being reasonably nice sounding in the sense of no mechanical impending doom. None here. They're usually quite refined because these are unstrained singles. This is also an unstrained single in that sense. And they produce outrageous fuel economy. And I think in the real world, no matter how you ride, you're going to see 70 plus.
Okay.
4-speed gearbox. I haven't ridden a 4-speed gearbox in absolutely ages, which was a lot of fun. It has drum brakes, combined braking system, all of that, but 130 mm front drum. I can't remember the last time I rode it on a motorcycle. And it works well enough.
It sounds so cute, like when you say 8 bhp.
No, I really had fun with it.
I know.
Let's not get... I had those new Kriegas that I purchased for the adventure. I said, why not? And I put them on the Shine. They fitted reasonably well. And then I sort of thought to myself saying, I have a 80,000 rupee bike and I have 40,000 rupee luggage on it. But I had a good, fun ride on it. It's a inoffensive, peaceful, fades into the background, reasonable performance. You get through everything. And in city traffic, obviously, they look at your boots and pants and jacket and helmet and like, that's a lot of gear for that motorcycle. Honestly, do not care. I had a good time riding it. It also reminded me that simple motorcycles in their simplest form can be a lot of fun, right? So if I were to rewind back and said, I'm 18, 19, 20 years old and my father and I reached the loggerhead point and he said, listen, I'm going to buy you a 100cc bike and I am out. This would be a very good way to start riding motorcycles. Because all the dynamics are in the place, it sort of brakes well enough and it goes well enough and it's very light on your pocket, which is exactly what all the 100s do. So,
all right. And when I said cute, I just have to be clear, it wasn't condescending. It is cute, and this combination of lightness, that easy talkiness, and I'm assuming that he said neat handling, right? Which means it does what you want it to without too much of a fuss.
And it's almost weightless, right? So
Correct.
you have to actually take your feedback away, take your inputs back.
Huh.
Say you don't want to, like, you can override a very light
Yeah,
bike
yeah.
very, very quickly. So you don't want to override this motorcycle. So if you're really into riding and what you ended up with is a Shine 100 TX, you'll be okay. You'll just have to be very light fingered on everything except maybe the brakes, because drums do require you to use force. Turning it, going into somebody going into another lane, tucking it into a relatively fast sweeping corner, it's just super simple. You think about it and more or less the work is already done.
We've spoken about a commuter motorcycle after ages, and you can hear exactly what Shumi felt on the MotorInc app, where the first is already playing.